Staying connected in Southeast Asia is one of those things that might sound complicated at first, but it doesn't have to be if you know a few things going in.
In this video, we'll share things to note that have made staying connected in Southeast Asia much easier for us.
For us, having reliable connectivity isn't about being glued to a screen all day.
The purpose is being able to find our way around, look things up on the fly, communicate with accommodations or tour guides, and not feel stressed when plans change because, let's face it, when you're traveling internationally, you're bound to run into something unexpected.
The first thing to know is that mobile connectivity in Southeast Asia is generally very good. In most major cities, coverage is excellent, and even in smaller towns, we rarely had trouble. Data is fast, and prices are typically much lower than what many travelers are used to at home.
Because of that, defaulting to your home carrier's international phone plan is often not the best value. The point is that you have options, and choosing intentionally can save money and hassle.
Wi-Fi is widely available at accommodations, cafes, and restaurants throughout Southeast Asia. But once you're out exploring, you'll still need mobile data to navigate, look things up, message accommodations or drivers, and adjust plans on the fly.
Having your own data connection and understanding what you can do offline gives you flexibility and peace of mind when you're away from Wi-Fi.
At a high level, there are 3 common ways travelers stay connected: international roaming through your home carrier, local SIM cards or hotspots, and eSIMs.
We won't go too deep into each of these here, but you'll want to figure out which one fits your phone and your trip, especially considering whether or not your phone is unlocked, eSIM compatible, and if you're moving between countries. If you're in our Toolkit membership, we walk through these options step by step inside our worldwide connectivity tutorials so that you can choose confidently without guessing.
These days, we pretty much always use eSIMs, and it's our first recommendation to most travelers. But again, it depends on your situation.
When you first arrive in an unfamiliar destination, you're tired and trying to get from the airport to where you're staying in a place you don't recognize and maybe also in a language that you don't know.
Airports in Southeast Asia almost always have local SIM kiosks, but we found that having data ready as soon as we land makes those arrival days noticeably easier. We can pull up directions, message our accommodation, and problem solve in real time instead of scrambling.
We are in Hanoi, Vietnam. This is the 4th country on this trip, and we are on the same regional eSIM. When we landed, it worked right away. We need to call the hotel. They asked us to use WhatsApp to get a transfer car that will pick us up here at the airport.
Setting up your phone in advance is a gift to your future self who's going to be jet lagged in the airport. To help, you can download our pre-trip phone checklist linked below the video or join our Toolkit membership for more in-depth guidance.
The next tip, if you're crossing borders, visiting multiple countries in Southeast Asia, we found that a regional eSIM is the simplest option for most travelers. It allows you to move between countries without needing to swap SIM cards or reconfigure your phone each time.
One thing that people don't always anticipate is how much more battery their phone uses while traveling, and a data plan is no good to you if you run out of charge.
You'll probably be taking photos, navigating, translating, and looking things up a lot more, and keep in mind that outlets aren't always available when you're out and about. This is why we always carry a small power bank, especially for long days out.
Just be sure to follow airline rules about where and when you're allowed to use it on the plane. Now, the apps that we use the most in Southeast Asia are Google Maps, WhatsApp for communicating, Grab for ride-hailing, Translate, and Currency.
These free tools help us handle most day-to-day logistics, so we highly recommend getting familiar with them before your trip.
If you need step-by-step guidance, our Smartphone Savvy travel course is where I teach these app essentials so you can use them confidently anywhere that you go.
The big takeaway is this: staying connected in Southeast Asia is usually very doable, and it doesn't have to be a source of stress. You don't need a complicated setup, just a little advanced planning.
As we mentioned, choosing the right setup for your phone and navigating confidently during your trip are topics we cover for our members with the tutorials inside our toolkit.
We hope this gives you a clear picture of what to expect and a little more confidence heading into your next trip.